Have you ever bought something online and then later realized you didn't just not need it, but you don't even really remember deciding to buy it?
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time.
Right. Like you're just scrolling, your brain feels totally foggy, and suddenly you're tracking a package for some random gadget that you have literally zero use for.
Yep, the automated checkout.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into how these digital spaces we inhabit are effectively, well, they're basically bypassing the human frontal lobe.
They really are.
And more importantly, we want to talk about how we can get our agency back. So the mission of this deep dive is to sort of unpack the true art of critical thinking in the AI era. And this is all based on some incredibly revealing research we've been looking at.
It's such a vital mission, honestly. Because what you just described, that foggy, almost automated purchasing behavior, it's a symptom of a really historically unprecedented state for the human brain.
Unprecedented how? Like just the sheer volume of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We are living through an era of absolute information overload. I mean, if we contextualize this, think about the vast stretch of human history. For centuries, knowledge was defined by physical scarcity and high friction.
High friction, right. Like you couldn't just Google it.
Right. If you wanted to learn something or even buy something specialized, you had to physically travel, track down an expert, or spend hours in a library.
Yeah.
But today, the friction is completely gone.
It's just a piece of glass in your pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That phone gives you access to an absolute avalanche of data, opinions, marketing every single second of the day.
And I'd imagine our hardware, like our actual brains, they just haven't had the evolutionary time to upgrade to handle that kind of volume. Right?
Not even close.
Yeah.
We are trying to process this massive fire hose of data with equipment that was basically built for the Stone Age.
Wow.
And when the human brain is faced with just too much data, it simply cannot process everything rationally. The cognitive load is just way too high.
So what does it do? Just shut down?
It relies on heuristics, mental shortcuts. So we default to believing whatever appears most frequently, or whatever triggers the strongest emotional response.
Oh, that makes sense. The easy route.
Exactly. And the architects of modern algorithms, they understand this evolutionary vulnerability perfectly. I mean, social media platforms are not neutral public squares.
Far from it.
They're attention harvesting engines. So they prioritize shocking, emotionally charged, or highly repetitive content because that is what hacks our primitive brain. It's what keeps us from closing the app.
Okay, let's unpack this because the research provides a really vivid scenario of how this algorithmic manipulation actually plays out in real time.
Oh, the thermos example.
Yes, the TikTok thermos. So picture this for a second. You open an app to decompress after a long, stressful day.
Your cognitive defenses are already down at that point.
Completely down. So you see a video of someone demonstrating the sleek, super convenient new thermos. You scroll. A few minutes later, you see another video showing a warehouse packing like thousands of these thermoses.
Which triggers a very specific heuristic, right? Social proof.
Right, because everyone else is doing it.
Exactly. From an evolutionary standpoint, if thousands of people in your tribe are running in one direction, you don't stop to rationally analyze the situation.
You just run.
You run with them. It's a herd survival mechanism.
That makes so much sense. So then the algorithm escalates, you scroll again, and a familiar celebrity or, a trusted influencer is casually drinking out of that exact same thermos.
It's building the narrative.
And then comes the trap. A live stream pops up, offering a huge discount complete with a ticking countdown clock.
Ah, the artificial urgency.
Yes. But it's only for the next 2 hours, so your thumb just hits buy almost entirely on its own.
And the scary part is, it's engineered to feel like a seamless, completely organic journey.
Yeah, you feel smart.
Exactly. You feel like you discovered a great product all on your own and made a really savvy financial decision to buy it on sale.
But I have to ask a messy question here. Because if the app is literally engineered by behavioral psychologists and neuroscientists to trigger those exact evolutionary responses, like manufacturing this intense fear of missing out, is it even fair to call that my choice?
That's the big question.
I mean, do we even stand a chance against a system that knows our psychological blind spots better than we do?
I mean, that is the core dilemma of the modern digital consumer. You are absolutely operating at a massive disadvantage.
It really feels that way.
Because consumer decisions today are heavily shaped by platform design and recommendation algorithms rather than any genuine personal utility.
So I didn't actually need the thermos?
Probably not. The algorithm just identified a vulnerability. Like perhaps you paused for 1.5 seconds on a video about hydration.
Just a micro pause.
Right, which signaled stressed. And combined with your late-night fatigue, it fed you a sequence designed specifically to bypass your rational filters. So the only defense mechanism available to us is to introduce intentional friction. We have to train ourselves to pause and just ask questions.
But that realization, the idea that our reality and our choices are being actively curated for us, that requires a complete overhaul of how we approach information.
Complete.
Like, we have to fundamentally redefine what it means to be a critical thinker. Because I think when most people hear critical thinking, they picture that deeply annoying guy at a dinner party who just wants to poke holes in everything everyone else says.
Oh yeah, the contrarian. The person who uses logic as a weapon to just dominate a conversation.
Exactly. Just exhausting to be around.
But true critical thinking is actually the exact opposite of that. The core philosophy isn't about being combative at all. It's about deep interrogation.
Okay, what does that look like in practice?
Well, a genuine critical thinker asks things like, why is this true?
Mm.
What is the underlying evidence?
Mm.
And are there alternative explanations for this phenomenon? And they aren't asking these questions to humiliate someone or to win debate points. They're asking them because they're trying to map reality as accurately as possible.
Which really requires letting go of the ego, doesn't it?
It requires a massive paradigm shift.
Mm.
I mean, people who argue just for the sake of arguing are chasing a dopamine hit, the high of being right.
Yeah, it's an emotional drive.
Exactly. But critical thinkers prioritize the truth over their own ego. And the framework we're examining makes a really profound point about this. It says that changing your mind when presented with better evidence is not a defeat.
Right.
It is actually a sign of intellectual maturity.
I love that. That is such a relieving way to look at it, just viewing a changed mind as a like a level up in personal growth rather than some sort of public embarrassment.
It's reframing the whole concept of being wrong.
Yeah, it's like you used to operate on outdated software, you received a patch in the form of new evidence, and now your worldview is more accurate.
I love the software patch analogy.
Yeah,
And sometimes the new evidence proves your initial instinct was correct all along.
sure.
And sometimes it proves you are wildly off base. But the outcome actually matters less than the active process of refining your understanding.
So, if the goal is to stop trying to win arguments and start trying to, decode reality, how do we practically execute that? Especially when we're staring at a screen designed to manipulate us.
Well, the research offers a really specific three-part toolkit for this, and anyone listening can start applying it immediately.
Okay, let's get into the toolkit. What's the first one?
Their first tool takes us back over 2,000 years to the Greek philosopher Socrates.
Socratic questioning.
Exactly. Socrates rarely lectured, he interrogated. He would ask probing questions until the person he was conversing with naturally exposed the contradictions in their own logic.
So how do we use that on, say, a TikTok video?
When you are consuming modern media, you have to sort of internalize Socrates. Instead of passively absorbing a video or an article, actively interrogate it.
Like talking back to the screen.
Pretty much. Ask yourself, what unspoken assumptions is this creator operating on? Are they providing verifiable data or just stating a very confident opinion?
Right. Distinguishing between fact and confidence.
And if their claim is true, what are the logical downstream consequences? You essentially force the content into a dialogue.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because the second tool in the kit deals with what happens when that content fights back using flawed logic. We're talking about spotting logical fallacies.
Yes, logical fallacies are everywhere. They're basically arguments that masquerade as sound reasoning but contain a fatal structural flaw.
Right.
And modern user interfaces are practically built to amplify them. Take the ad hominem fallacy, for example.
That's attacking the person instead of the argument, right?
Exactly. So in the past, this might look like dismissing a sociologist's robust research on family dynamics simply because the sociologists themselves went through a messy divorce.
Right, you're ignoring the actual data just to attack their personal life.
Yes. And today, algorithmic comment sections absolutely thrive on ad hominem.
Oh, big time. It's all you see.
Because nuanced debate takes time and character limits to articulate, but a quick personal insult, that generates immediate engagement, upvotes, and platform visibility.
So the UI itself incentivizes the fallacy.
It really does. And another huge one is the appeal to authority. Historically, this meant trusting a claim just because an authority figure said it.
How does that look today?
Think about how UI design weaponizes this. Blue verification check marks, high production lighting, confident body language, maybe they're wearing a lab coat.
Right, all those visual cues.
Our brains see those cues, we assume authority, and we instantly transfer that authority to whatever health supplement or crypto coin they happen to be selling, regardless of their actual real-world expertise.
That makes total sense. And I see the bandwagon fallacy operating the exact same way. Like, that ties right back to our TikTok thermos and that 1 million sold badge we talked about.
The ultimate bandwagon.
Right. If I pause and apply critical thinking, I realize that just because a fast food chain serves 1 million burgers a day, that doesn't mean they are serving the highest quality, most nutritious food on the planet.
Not at all.
It just means the product is cheap, accessible, and backed by a massive marketing budget. A best-selling book or a viral video might just have an army of bots or a mob mentality behind it.
Yep.
Popularity is simply not a proxy for factual truth.
That is a crucial decoupling. Recognizing these fallacies allows you to separate the emotional manipulation of the platform from the actual factual claim being presented.
Okay, so that's Socratic questioning and logical fallacies. What's the third tool?
This brings us to the 5 whys, which actually moves us from analyzing others' arguments to diagnosing complex problems ourselves.
I think this one originally came from manufacturing, right?
It did, from process improvement. The principle is that when a problem surfaces, the first obvious cause is almost never the actual root cause. You have to ask why. 5 consecutive times to drill past the surface symptoms.
The research provides an excellent case study on this with a struggling tourism company.
Yes, it's a great example. So imagine a tourism company where sales are suddenly down.
I can imagine the immediate reaction from management, like sales are down, fire the sales director, or immediately double the digital ad spend.
That is the reflex. But let's apply the tool. Sales are down. Why?
Because there are fewer customers booking tours?
Right. Why?
Because there is less general interest in the specific itineraries we offer.
Okay, why?
Because those traditional itineraries are no longer appealing to modern travelers.
Why?
Because post-pandemic travel behavior has fundamentally changed.
And finally, why?
Because consumers today prioritize highly personalized, flexible, local experiences over rigid, crowded mass tours.
Exactly. So by the time you hit that 5th why, the diagnosis is completely transformed.
It's not a marketing problem at all. It's a product-market mismatch.
Precisely. If they had gone with their first instinct, they would have just incinerated money advertising a product that nobody actually wanted anymore.
Wow. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the 5 whys really reveal the underlying structure of a situation.
Yes. It interrupts the brain's desire for immediate closure. It forces you to look at the invisible architecture causing the surface-level issue.
And looking at invisible architecture, that completely changes how we view the broader society we live in, doesn't it? Like, these tools aren't just for avoiding impulse purchases or saving a failing business model.
No, they apply to everything.
They force us to look past individual events and see the sociological structures at play. Take something as universally discussed as wealth. If we see a wildly successful, wealthy individual, the brain's simple heuristic is just, well, they worked incredibly hard.
And to be fair, it is highly likely that they did work incredibly hard.
Right.
But critical thinking demands that we ask structural questions beyond just that individual effort. What was the quality of their early education?
What was the financial safety net provided by their family?
Exactly. Did they have access to influential social networks? Was there a specific macroeconomic tailwind that favored their chosen industry at the exact time they entered it?
Because society is a deeply interwoven system.
It is. Hard work is a variable, but structural barriers can suppress one person's hard work, while structural advantages can act as a massive multiplier for another's.
It's basically the difference between looking at a single fish versus analyzing the entire ocean current it's swimming in.
That's a great way to put it.
But analyzing the ocean is incredibly difficult when the algorithm is constantly putting a customized screen in front of your face.
Oh, the echo chamber.
Yes. The research brings up the concept of the echo chamber, and it's terrifying how easily we fall into it. Imagine you watch like 3 videos on real estate flipping. You're not even a real estate agent. You're just mildly curious.
Dipping your toes in.
Yeah.
But the recommendation engine registers that engagement immediately.
Right. The algorithm sees that fractional increase in attention.
Yep.
So the next day, you see 5 real estate videos.
And it compounds.
By the end of the week, your entire feed consists of hyper-energetic gurus telling you to buy property. Because you are seeing it everywhere you look, you develop this overwhelming, totally false belief that literally everyone is getting rich in real estate except you.
which creates this intense manufactured anxiety.
Exactly.
Because you are operating under the illusion that your feed is a transparent window into the objective world.
When it's not.
Not at all. In reality, it is a highly curated, incredibly narrow hallway lined with mirrors. The algorithm is simply reflecting your own recent clicks back at you, amplifying them to keep you engaged.
The echo chamber just distorts your entire baseline perception of what's normal.
Completely.
So we've got evolutionary heuristics working against us, algorithmic echo chambers trapping us, and deceptive UI designs. But we are now entering an era where we face something even more complex.
The final boss, so to speak.
Yes, artificial intelligence. We are shifting from querying search engines to querying AI. We don't just ask for links anymore. We ask an LLM, a large language model, to just give us the final answer.
And this is a monumental vulnerability.
How so?
Because AI models are miraculous tools, but they operate on a mechanism that the general public often completely misunderstands. An LLM does not know facts the way a human historian or a scientist does.
Right.
It doesn't have a database of absolute truth stored inside it. It is fundamentally a probabilistic text generator.
Meaning what, exactly?
It means it is mathematically predicting the next most likely word in a sequence based on the vast, messy data it was trained on.
Okay, so it's essentially like a highly confident, incredibly articulate, pathological liar at a dinner party.
That's why.
Like, it doesn't even know it's lying.
Yeah.
Its only objective is to keep the conversation flowing smoothly and sound as plausible as possible.
That analogy is actually frighteningly accurate. When an AI doesn't have the specific information, it is literally designed to seamlessly invent it to fulfill your prompt.
Which leads to hallucinations.
Exactly. The research highlights this chilling phenomenon called hallucinations. In one study, researchers asked an AI to provide 5 scientific, peer-reviewed studies regarding consumer behavior on TikTok Shop.
Which sounds incredibly useful. Like, that saves hours of digging through academic journals.
It sounds great. And it produced a beautiful formatted response. It provided realistic-sounding titles, the names of actual researchers who work in that field, and detailed summaries of the data.
Okay.
The formatting was flawless. But when investigators actually searched academic databases for those specific papers, they discovered the AI had completely fabricated them.
They didn't even exist.
They did not exist.
What?
The AI hallucinated the citations because they looked mathematically similar to real academic papers.
That is wild.
And furthermore, because AI is trained on historical human data, it mathematically reproduces and occasionally amplifies historical human biases.
So what does this all mean for us? If an AI can invent a peer-reviewed study out of thin air, and my social media feed is an engineered trap designed to bypass my rational thought, how do we even function? It's overwhelming.
Like, I can't apply the Socratic method and the 5 whys to every single sentence I read all day long.
No, you can't, and you shouldn't entirely discard these technologies either. AI is an unparalleled tool for synthesis and ideation.
So we keep using it.
We do. But the key takeaway is that AI must be utilized to augment human cognition, not to outsource it. We can no longer afford to be passive recipients of answers.
We have to stay engaged.
Exactly. When an AI provides a seemingly perfect response, that is not the end of the inquiry. That is the beginning. You must apply your critical toolkit.
Like asking, where is the independent, verifiable source for this data?
Yes. Or, does this generalized algorithmic output actually apply to the specific nuances of my local context?
We really have to step up and act as the rigorous editors of the information rather than just the consumers of it.
That's the perfect way to phrase it. Editor, not consumer.
And the research actually wraps this all up with a brilliant framework categorizing how people interact with knowledge today. It outlines 3 distinct levels.
Right, 3 levels. Level 1 is the consumer. This is the baseline, passive state. You scroll, you absorb the emotional framing, you accept the hallucinated AI answers, and, you buy the thermos.
At that level, you are entirely at the mercy of the system's design.
Then, level 2 is the evaluator. This is where you activate the friction we talked about. You pause, you apply Socratic questioning, you identify the ad hominem attacks in the comments, you recognize the echo chamber, and you trace the 5 whys down to the root cause.
The evaluator protects themselves from manipulation. They survive the system.
Right. But level 3, the creator, is the absolute pinnacle of intellectual engagement. And this isn't about creating, like, TikTok videos. It's about creating new paradigms.
The deepest level,
The creator doesn't just evaluate the answers being given, they interrogate the fundamental questions being asked in the first place. They look at the prevailing narrative and ask, wait, are we entirely missing the actual problem here?
And that level 3 mindset, that is the ultimate human advantage.
Because machines can't do that.
No, because yes, computers can absolutely outremember us. They have limitless storage. They can process billions of data points in milliseconds, and they can generate a grammatically flawless essay in 3 seconds. But a probabilistic model can only remix what has already been digitized. The unique, irreplaceable value of the human mind lies in our capacity for original curiosity.
Wow.
A human can observe the real world, synthesize unspoken context, and ask a question that has literally never existed in the training data.
Which leaves me with a final thought I really want you to mull over.
Yeah.
If the true enduring value of human beings in this AI-dominated era is our ability to ask profound, paradigm-shifting questions, how does our entire educational system need to adapt?
That is a million-dollar question.
For decades, we have sat students at desks and tested them primarily on their ability to memorize information and regurgitate the single correct answer on a multiple-choice exam. We've essentially been training them to be second-rate search engines.
And we can't compete with actual search engines.
Exactly. But if AI has basically solved the problem of providing answers, perhaps the tests of tomorrow shouldn't grade you on the answer you give. Perhaps they should grade you entirely on the depth, the structural insight, and the fearless curiosity of the questions you're willing to ask.
Moving from an industrial model of compliance to an era of genuine intellectual inquiry. I love that.
Just something to think about the next time you feel that algorithmic fog rolling in during a late-night scroll. You don't have to surrender to the feed. You can introduce friction, you can ask why, and you can reclaim your agency. Keep questioning everything, and thanks for joining us